It's the midpoint of another week, and from us here at GBC, it's time to update you with happenings from within and across our borders. My name is Micheline Taka.
I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Jawando with Jonathan and team to do the sign language.
First, the headlines. A plan to build about 100 two-bedroom housing units for victims of recent tidal waves in the Volta region.
Concern over activities of residents and motorists on newly inaugurated Nagbewa interchange in Tamale.
Inhabitants of Pramso unsettled about the relocation of the town's main cemetery to a new site.
In the foreign front, Burkina Faso's former president Blaise Compaoré handed over life sentence in absentia for Thomas Sankare's murder.
The news in detail now. About 100 two-bedroom housing units have been earmarked for construction for those displaced by the recent tidal waves in the Volta region. Work on the first 15 out of these houses is expected to begin in 2 weeks if all goes well.
The Volta Regional Minister Dr. Archibald Lecha disclosed this after touring areas that were hit by the disaster last Sunday. 37 acres of land have been secured at the Slakopa to locate the affected families.
Continue to ravage some coastal communities in the Volta region. In April last year, the waves destroyed many houses and displaced more than 1,000 people in 2 districts and a municipality all along the Volta coast. The tidal waves have almost destroyed the Aplao-Keta road, threatening to cut off Agavaji, Amutinu and Salakope from the rest of the Ketu South municipality. The wild waves that came last Sunday hit more than 80 houses and displaced about 300 people at Salakope, Agavaji and Amutinu. A hospitality facility was also not spared by the ravaging sea action. By the time the Volta Regional Minister and the NADMO officials visited the area, life was back to normal and the waves had receded. The Ketu South Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Maxwell Lugudo, said construction works on 15 of the 100 units of the houses was expected to begin in 2 weeks.
We soon start with the 15-unit, 2-bedroom house as quickly as possible. We are expecting to build at least 100 for them so that we can cater for the people who are affected.
The regional minister is happy the disaster victims have accepted to be relocated to higher grounds.
Initially, people will be reluctant to be relocated, but now I think the suggestion for relocation has been accepted by the people. So I think we are happy with what is being done. So we are expecting that within the next another year, if we are able to do 50 of the units, that will accommodate a lot of the people.
Government's promise to carry out a sea defense project at Agavaji is yet to materialize.
Community leaders within the Awana Beach in the Shamar district of the Western region are appealing for urgent support from residents affected by the tidal waves. These dangerous waves with high winds have had a marked effect on hundreds of homes, and there's an urgent need for a sea defense wall to save the community from further destruction.
Awana Beach is a small fishing and farming community in the Shamar district of the Western region. It has been battling tidal waves perennially, and the residents fear that if urgent action is not taken for the sea defense wall to be constructed at the earliest possible time, the communities risk being washed away and losing their very existence due to the effects of the waves, ravaging homes and destroying properties. Community leaders contend the matter is a national crisis, and any further delay in the sea defense project will lead to severe destruction of properties which in effect will render them homeless, in addition to properties running into thousands of Ghana cedis that have already been destroyed. Officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, were on hand to assess the situation, sympathize with the people, and presented relief items. Some residents and victims of the disaster said the recent tidal waves is the strongest they have witnessed in recent years.
It started last 4 days ago, but yesterday one has been very serious and massive one that causes us things. Our properties have gone. Only thankful to God that nobody died.
The Shama District Chief Executive, Mr. Ebenezer Dazik, said to avoid recurrence of this disaster, the community is going to be relocated, adding that the residents have agreed to the resettlement.
The settlement area now.
The national coordinator of NADMO, Nana Ajuman Prempe, said interim measures will be taken to address the problem. He, however, called for a long-term solution, such as the construction of sea defense wall along the coastal communities.
My advice is for them to move from this place to the new site the assembly is trying to locate them to. That is all, because you cannot stay here. With climate change today, anything can happen at any time, and therefore we think they should move, and I'm happy they've all agreed to move.
The Nagbewa interchange has undoubtedly lifted the image of Tamale and established the place as the gateway to northern Ghana. However, the activities of some residents are creating unease and fears of accidents waiting to happen. Our northern regional correspondent, Murtala Isa, visited the northern section of the overpass and comes through with this report.
When President Akufo-Addo inaugurated the 1.1-kilometer Nagbewa interchange in Tamale last week, he cautioned residents against reckless use of the highway, which could lead to accidents.
I appeal to the users of the facility, especially drivers, to adhere to the various road safety measures put in place for the safe use of the facility.
However, a visit to the area today shows that some pedestrians have thrown the president's caution to the wind. Pedestrians, including school children, can be seen loitering around in an attempt to cross the highway. What makes the situation worse is the absence of road markings, including zebra crossing, to allow easy access to either end of the road.
What is happening here is a major danger awaiting to happen. Pedestrians crossing anyhow without any markings, motor riders crossing from one end to the other, the pavement, without going down to use the U-turn.
Look at the road, it has been well constructed, and we are very grateful to the president for putting up such edifice to propel the beauty of the northern region. But it looks as if there are more work to be done on it. There are no zebra crossing along this lane, and people are taking advantage of abusing the crossing of the road. So we would like to appeal to the Metro Director to see to it that they put the zebra crossings and also put in the directional signs that will give guides to people who are using the road.
The crossing is terrible. I think they have to educate people how to really cross the road. You can just imagine just right now, look at what this woman is trying to do over there. He's trying to cross with a motorbike. So at least there should be a footbridge for the pedestrians to use. Moreover, people like walking on it. I don't know whether it's a walkway or an interchange or whatever. So we just need more education on that. I think that one will help.
Residents are urging city authorities to therefore create a footbridge for walking over and find a way of controlling motor riders from crossing the pavement anyhow. Murtala Isa for GBC News.
In the Upper East region, there is a ban on the use of cargo trucks, vehicles and tricycles, popularly known as motor kings, meant for carrying goods from transporting passengers. The Upper East Regional Police Command says the use of these vehicles for purposes other than what they are meant for is a major cause for road crashes, sometimes fatal. The police say this emerging trend in the region is legally prohibited.
The Regional Police Public Relations Officer, ASP David Fianco-Ochre, said in line with their mandate to protect life and property, the Upper East Regional Police Command therefore serves notice to all motor king riders, passengers and transport owners who engage in such illegality to immediately put a stop to it, as when found culpable shall be prosecuted. He says though it serves as a means of transportation to some in the region, it is causing major injuries and sometimes lives. He says the exercise, which takes immediate effect, is expected to be enforced alongside educating the people on the law.
We are saying that to protect lives and property, we will not say that we live in a village and the fact that we do not have better means of transport, so we should engage in illegality. In fact, when before this Abubuya, people were still traveling from the villages to this place. So now they are resorting to the use of Kandu, which is fine for passengers. We are managing that one. But for the Abubuya, it's not conducive. There is nothing protecting the people sitting in that vehicle. And accidents that we have recorded in the region in recent times involve that motorking, which sometimes result to fatality. This is what we want to prevent.
The police PRO said apart from such exercise being dangerous to riders, drivers and passengers, the act is in complete violation of the Road Traffic Regulations of 2012, Regulation 128. ASP Fianco-Ochre said anyone who engages in such activity will be arrested and the means of transport impounded for prosecution.
For this motorking, we are saying it's no-go area. They are not permitted to carry human beings, that is passengers. If they have goods in their villages and they are bringing it to the town, no police officer will stop them or deny them from using that. But when we see human beings in them, for that one, we'll arrest the rider who are normally not licensed person to ride.
ASP David Fianco is cautioning passengers traveling within the region to do so in appropriate means of transport described as passenger vehicles. The command says justification on arrest that occupants are traveling to church, mosque, graduation, farms or other social gathering shall not be accepted.
Tension is mounting among inhabitants of Pramso in the Bosomtwe district of Ashanti. They are unsettled about the relocation of the town's main cemetery to a new site which residents say is too close for comfort. The increasing agitation among the indigenous is also about health concerns and environmental implications of the new cemetery, which they do not approve of.
Pramso is one of the key traditional towns of Asanteman and the Bosomtwe district. It is a short distance from the district capital, Kuntunase, and also holds the main referral hospital of the district. The town recently installed a new chief after years of the stool being vacant. It was during this period that the government extended the main Trapatre Kuntunase road to pass through the town. The road, which is under construction, is being expanded into a dual carriageway, hence requiring additional land space. The road project therefore affects the existing Pramso cemetery. With consultation, it was agreed that those graves within the road project must be relocated to another part of the same cemetery. However, according to the people, more bodies than expected are being exhumed and being asked to send to the new cemetery contrary to the initial agreement. while the Bosomtwe District Assembly is claiming that only 16 graves and remains have been exhumed to allow for the road construction, the residents say more than 200 have been removed and asked to send to the new cemetery, whose location they consider dangerous. Madam Konedu shared her concerns regarding the development. The assembly member for the community, Mr. Frank Owusu-Sechere, spoke about the concerns of the community and why they are agitating.
As far as the assembly is concerned, that place is earmarked for a cemetery, and the assembly has approved of it. If anyone has any superior technical knowledge why it should not be so, it can be addressed as such. Okay.
From GBC News visits to the new cemetery, it is located about 30 meters from a water source known as River Danyame, which sources say also serves as the tributary of two other river streams. Part of the river has been blocked to create access to a new cemetery. It is being used for agriculture and other purposes, while the new cemetery is sited within a new development area and very close to a church, which had a warning by the district assembly to stop work and produce a permit. GBC News came upon 70-year-old Openi Nyaokiti on the cassava farm. He told GBC News that his crop farm that had served him and his family since 1968, as well as another person's oil palm plantation, have been taken over for the new cemetery without the appropriate compensation.
Mebia me ye dwuma no o de ho beye nsamampo nti bia wa ye furu ho bia na me ne namra nti gari a ne me wo he ne ko fa no na me ne ko na na ho no ka che se yenko na watwe ne asaba nti na watwe no su ye no no man ba me chen be frɛ me because say pa wa say me yenko twa dwan e wa sase so na me ba me na di akire ba e ba say pa gu enzani wie no no say me ba nkyene de o fa no senka nti me ma no ho na bewura nso no wonso bedua fase enti nsuo so da hase ne fe no de nyame nso kokobɔ asantin na santin so de kɔ wonu akɔbɔ supem enti na dem nim ho no no ti sese me banche no yentua meka abewura nso yentua neka nso yedua fem.
On a tour of the existing cemetery, it was observed also that the greater portion of the land for that purpose remains unused, while a number of graves and bodies exhumed were more than the 16 earlier claimed. More were still being engraved by persons hired by bereaved families without any supervision or protection. The Pramso town folks openly expressed their displeasure. GBC News proceeded to the Bosomtwe District Assembly at Kontinase to hear from the authorities. The District Chief Executive, Mr. Joseph Esumi, said the Assembly had consulted the committee and the traditional leaders who together agreed for the removal of only those that fell within the road construction zone, and that the bodies exhumed were agreed to be relocated to other parts of the same cemetery. According to the DCE, even though the District Assembly has given approval for the new cemetery for the community, it is to host only fresh bodies, insisting that the Assembly endorsed the suitability for a cemetery.
The youngest members of Parliament, going under the umbrella name Young Parliamentarians Forum, have had a counselling session with students of the West Africa Senior High School WAS at Adenta in Accra. They sensitized the students on the need to avoid social vices which may mar their future or prevent them from becoming responsible citizens.
The Young Parliamentarians Forum is made up of the youngest members of Parliament who have put their party colours aside and come together with the aim of influencing our society, particularly the youth, positively. They believe their duty to the nation goes beyond the traditional functions of the legislature. They are committed to touch and transform lives by going to the communities and schools. The group has started the youth sensitization in some regions. Their latest port of call was the West African Senior High School, WAS. The MPs took turns to educate the students on various social vices such as drug addiction and abuse, teenage pregnancy, and armed robbery.
Your life is like an egg. So if you are given an egg right now, the egg representing your future, if you make it drop, can you bring the pieces together? So your future is now. There's nothing like future. Whatever you want to be in future, whoever you want to become in future, the time is now.
The lawmakers later explained to the students some happenings on the floor of Parliament so they could better understand and appreciate the work of the legislature.
The Agricultural Development Bank ADB has presented a check for 600,000 Ghana cedis to Mr. Mohammed Masood, the overall winner of the 2021 National Best Farmer Award. The 44-year-old man, who hails from the Mian district of the Northern Region, says he will use the money to expand his business.
Last year, during the National Farmers Day Awards held in Cape Coast, Mr. Mohammed Masood Kujo was declared the overall winner. Across the country, a total of 165 gallant farmers and fishermen were rewarded for their efforts in sustaining the economy through the production of food and cash crops as well as fish. The Managing Director of the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, Dr. John Mensah, who presented the check in Accra, said the bank remained committed to ensuring that the agriculture sector continued to play its critical role in the national economy.
ADB, as mentioned by the Minister, has been the lead sponsor of this noble award ceremony since 2001, and we will continue to support government in rewarding our gallant farmers and fishers in the years ahead.
The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Uswefria Koto, appealed to other banks to support the agriculture sector, which remains the backbone of the national economy. Mr. Mohammed Masood said he would invest the prize money in his business. The agriculture sector contributes close to 54% of Ghana's gross domestic product GDP and employs about 60% of the population.
Still to come in this package, we have business, sports, entertainment, and health. Do stay.
Good evening. Time now for the business segment, proudly brought to you by MTN and Quick Credit. I am Dorothy Ajamine. President Akufo-Addo is expected to address the 7th OACPS Ministers' Conference on Fisheries and Aquaculture tomorrow. To this end, the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Madam Hawa Kumsin, in a meeting with the Secretary General of Organization for African, Caribbean and Pacific States, Mr. George Rubello Pinto Chikoti, said issues that would be highlighted are the challenges to artisanal fishing, climate change and illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing.
The fisheries and aquaculture sector of Ghana plays a crucial role in the country's economic transformation. Currently, an estimated 3 million of the country's population are directly and indirectly employed within the fisheries and aquaculture value chain. The sector also supports government's efforts to achieve nutrition and food security, with fish constituting 60% of the animal protein intake of Ghanaians. This is no different in other member states of the OACPS, where fish and fishery products constitute one of the most traded food commodities in terms of export. As part of measures to address the challenges confronting the fisheries and aquaculture sector, the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Madam Mavis Hawa Kumsin, has said in a meeting with the Secretary General of the Organization for African, Caribbean and Pacific States, Mr. George Rubello Pinto Chikoti, that Ghana is well positioned to attain all targets set in the OACPS Blue Economy Agenda for 2030.
So far, I believe this conference is going to help. It's going to guide governments to do policies, in his policies regarding to fisheries. There's going to be high-level discussions, professionals, practitioners, academics will all be around. And so I believe the discussions will take us a higher level and we'll be able to learn from the good practices that we need to stop some of our illegal activities when it comes to fishing aspects.
The Secretary General of the Organization for African, Caribbean and Pacific States, Mr. George Rubello Pinto Chikoti, said the 7th OACPS is expected to offer solutions to the emerging challenges confronting the fisheries sector.
Well, I think, yes, you have 79 ministers meeting. They'll be looking at all challenges they have, all problems they have, and I think that the outcome of the meeting or the conference can only be a very good one. So we are all expecting that as our senior officials are working today and then tomorrow, we believe that the outcome will touch on all areas that are of. Keep on supporting President Akufo in Ghana and naturally giving the support to the minister.
The 7th OACPS meeting is hosting 79 member states represented by their policymakers, practitioners and professionals within the fisheries and aquaculture sector.
Away from that story, members of the Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association, GABA, have been advised to be abreast of current technological trends in their line of work. Speaking at the 50th anniversary of the association in Accra, the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Mr. Morgan Ayawini, said applying technology to their work would make it efficient and competitive.
Dressers and Beauticians Association, GABA, was established in 1972 with the objective of promoting their businesses and align the beauty industry to that of international standards. The association currently has over 6,000 members across the 16 regions of the country. In marking the 50th anniversary of GABA, the national president of GABA, Madam Tina Ofeyuinchi, said GABA is positioning itself to take advantage of the current technological trends to remain relevant and competitive.
The time has come for us as actors in the beauty industry to take advantage of digital solutions to manage and promote our business to remain competitive in this technological era. In this view, the executives have engaged some experts in digital solutions to tailor-make some digital solutions relevant to our line of business. We will urge all members to embrace these interventions when the time comes for it to roll out.
The General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Mr. Morgan Ayawini, lauded the association for their efforts in equipping the youth with skills to reduce unemployment in the country. He, however, called on them to digitalize the operations to keep their positions in the competitive industry.
Digitalization has become the mantra for the activities in Ghana today. It is therefore encouraging that GABA is adopting digital solutions in the hair and beauty industry. I have indicated earlier that you have to wake up from your slumber so that you are not left behind.
The 50th anniversary of the Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association (GABA) was on the theme accelerating the adoption of digital solutions in the hair and beauty industry. The role of GABA. The increase in online platforms for buying and selling goods has fueled an escalation in the sale of fake products around the world. But that is about to change with the introduction of a trust mark for all registered and certified online shops. The E-Commerce Association of Ghana says the trust mark will guide consumers to buy from credible online sources.
This will serve as a seal of trust when you go shopping online. This trust mark will assure online buyers of which shops are safe to buy from, as these shops would have passed a criteria of checks, certifying their credibility.
These were the remarks at the Made in Africa Technovate Awards. The event was to recognize outstanding technology companies and innovations that have impacted lives and society. Commodity analyst Isoko, Bima, Haptel, among 17 other tech players, were judge winners in their respective categories.
To encourage the development of ICT in this country, digitalization, digital technology, and so on. So our aim is to support government institutions, the private sector in promoting digital technology.
The winners were encouraged to develop more innovative products to aid the smooth integration of the African markets.
The cedi is trading at 7 cedis to the US dollar, 9 cedis 33 pesos to the pound sterling, and 7 cedis 77 pesos to the euro. Coming up are the figures and also the prices of gold, cocoa and light crude from the Commodity Board. And that's it for the business segment, proudly brought to you by MTN and Quick Credit. Coming up as the energy segment. Please stay.
Hello, good evening. You're live on News Hour with Mabel Anna. Attention is again being drawn to the need to conserve and use energy efficiently to cut down on cost of electricity, to ensure holistic buy-in and to guarantee sustenance of the energy sector. The Energy Commission is organizing energy efficiency and conservation education across the country. Officers of the headquarters of the Ghana National Fire Service in Accra benefited from the training session.
Energy cost is one of the major expenses incurred in homes and offices. Energy efficiency helps to reduce cost, and when energy is conserved, it enables electricity to be extended to areas without power, while individuals save money to spend on other necessaries. Senior Manager, Energy Efficiency and Climate Change at the Energy Commission, Mr. Ken Amankwa, entreated Ghanaians to cultivate the habit of conserving energy at all times using the right appliances.
Those who feel their consumption is so high, they are paying so much for electricity. When you start practicing energy efficiency and conservation, you reduce your consumption and then your electricity bill will go down. So you have more money for other things, especially in these difficult times that you are all looking at ways of reducing our expenditure. Energy consumption is one way that we can reduce our expenditure and save some money for other things.
Deputy Chief Fire Officer Mr. Tony Gomez advised participants at the session to be conscious of the electrical cables they purchase to wire their structures.
Be more safety conscious when it comes to the type of wires to procure for our projects and other activities. Use power efficiently to reduce costs and save us some money to do other important things.
Assistant Public Relations Officer at the Energy Commission, Mr. Samuel Frimpong, spoke about the importance of discarding old electrical appliances that consume more electricity.
Fridges are meant to last for only 10 years. Enti ye program we na sa fridge we use no a bit more than 10 years kototwene na tofufro.
The training session will be organized in all regions across the country. For GBC News, Dominic Hoji, Accra.
To some more stories, the major rainstorm, which hit parts of Greater Accra and other parts of the country today, April 6, 2022, has caused major disruptions in the electricity distribution system. The Electricity of Ghana Company of Ghana, ECG, is cautioning Ghanaians to be extremely careful not to touch or step on loose or falling electrical conductors, since they could be live wires. According to ECG, anyone who comes across loose or falling conductors should contact the ECG. A statement by the company assures the public that the company is working to resolve the situation as soon as practicable. Now, the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission is soon to implement the improved transparency modified version of the new tariff guidelines. The PURC says this is part of the Commission's strategic tariff interventions for 2022. Chief Executive of PURC, Dr. Ishmael Aka, explained that the initiative is to help civil society groups, stakeholders and the public to understand and make contributions.
Another strategic intervention we want to pursue this year is transparency, improved transparency. As part of that, we have reorganized our corporate affairs department and developed a modified version of the tariff guidelines. This version has flow charts, explanatory notes and others, which will be published on our website and actually be published as a book, so that when you take it, this one will not be the normal methodology, the regression and others. It is very simple for everyone to understand. So civil society and all other stakeholders will get the opportunity to understand the process and make input into what we are doing. At the end of the day, even if we don't agree with the tariff that may come, we want to ensure that what we have, the process we went through was transparent and fair.
We now bring you some data on national power generation, Ghana's power export figures, and the water level in the Akosombo and Bui dams. Health news is up next.
Hello and welcome to the health segment brought to you by kind courtesy of Lufat. 28-year-old Taufik Suleimana is thanking the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation GBC for raising over 40,000 Ghana cedis towards a successful surgery after being diagnosed with a medical condition doctors termed as craniocervical tumor. The disease paralyzed his whole body, rendering him unable to walk, stand or use his hands. He used GBC's platform to thank individuals and organizations for their assistance.
This was Taufik a little over a year ago when GBC News made public his condition. This is Taufik after the craniocervical tumor treatment. He was all smiles when he visited the newsroom to thank the public service broadcaster GBC for helping give him a new lease of life, and also the public who contributed in cash and morally towards his rehabilitation.
Here I am again, thanking each and everyone that contributed to my well-being today. I really appreciate it.
The Deputy Director for Television and Head of News at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Ms. Akushika Akwe, on behalf of GBC, thanked the public and all who contributed to the well-being of Taufik Suleimana.
About a year, probably, that we came in contact with Taufik. His story was told to us by a colleague, and it was a very sad thing to see. But for most of us in the TV newsroom, it is very heartwarming and encouraging to see him, smiling, because the very first video was of him crying, crying for help. But as a public service broadcaster, we used our platform to give a voice to the hitherto voiceless, to amplify his tears to the public who have responded. And today, seeing him walk, it's for us, it's a project in process. We are not done yet, and we are hoping that with continued support from the public, this will be a complete success story and a successful project.
The situation of Tufik Sulemana currently has improved significantly, but doctors hope to do more for complete recovery, for example, to be able to use his hands effectively.
Further investigation while there at the Kolebun Teaching Hospital also saw that I had some of the tumor in my brain stem. Though it was only on the cervical, on the previous investigation they had on me, they felt I need to undergo another surgery to remove those found in the brain, and with that I would be back on my feet fully.
Kindly support to fix further treatment by donating to Momo number 0541 211588, registered in the name of Tufik Sulemana. Reporting for GBC News, Gifty AJ, GBC News, Accra.
Once again, we say thank you to each and everyone who contributed in one way or the other for his well-being. That's all. Up next is international news.